I was terrified.
I've never seen anything like that.
Just tell us what you know about how these deaths occurred.
The 6 members of the family were found last night in bed, shot, and killed.
Suppose you're thinking about a plate of shrimp. Suddenly somebody will say like plate or shrimp or plate of shrimp out of the blue, no explanation. It's all part of a cosmic unconsciousness.
Thank you, and enjoy your stay on Mars.
Passport?
The monsters. Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Do you believe in the boogeyman?
Morgue Radio. The world's original all-horror broadcast.
Horror, suspense, and chills tear at your senses. Their creed was to kill, kill, kill.
Kill, kill, die, die. Welcome, fiends. Welcome to Morgue Radio. Welcome to the Weird Wide Web's original all-horror broadcast. Yes. It's me, I'm here, I'm your host as always, your favorite radio cartoon pal, Toon Dragomir.
The rock and roll Rasputin, the mad sexy monk. He's smart and talented and kind and funny. He can be good fun to be around, but he is full tilt batshit tonto.
This week on the broadcast.
David Hess was the first name that came to mind because I couldn't think of a more intense actor. They quickly contacted David J. Hess, the wrong David Hess. Somehow they got on the phone and offered the role to the... I guess there's another David Hess out there. God bless him.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, back for seconds. Director of Smash Cuts, LEE DEMARBRE joins us. Our Blood Spattered guide has more with the great thespian/musician Bill Moseley.
Shut the fuck up!
And the Caustic Critics are taking on REPO Men.
REPO Man!
Not that one, this one.
He'll sign it. Everybody signs it.
But what they don't tell you is if you can't pay the bills, some union man will break into your house and reclaim our property.
I can pay. Sorry, that's not my department.
Terror, tune in John Mass this week. From OhGr, we got Cancerslug, Michael J. Lewis, The Frogs, plus tons more fun. So come on your home for horror rock and roll reward.
Put it on a plate, son. You'll enjoy it more.
Couldn't enjoy it anymore, Mom.
Let's go with Nim Vind, a new video out soon for Hadron Collider. Here it is on Morgue Radio. Let's go.
A Hadron Collider is made. I live fast when I'm feeling it. I know there's no other way. In dark matter, I see it. You started thumping and I can't make it stop. Ooh, where you at? Ooh, where you at? The beat is calling me back. Ooh, where you at? Ooh, where you at? To my heart attack. Ooh, where you at? Ooh, where you at? I feel it coming back to life. Dead on arrival from a comeback special. Go. Dead on arrival from a comeback special. Come on. A Hadron Collider engaged. I got my finger on the rock and roll trigger, and I don't look to the better day. I'm barely hanging on, living in this world. You started thumping, and I can't make it stop. Ooh, where you at? Ooh, where you at? The beat is calling me back. Ooh, where you at? Ooh, where you at? To my heart attack. Ooh, where you at? Ooh, where you at? I feel it coming back to life. Dead on arrival from a comeback special. Go. Dead on arrival from a comeback special. Come on. You shadowed all of this with one amazing will to witness. I only wonder if the world can handle all of this today. Where you at? The beat is calling me back. Where you at? Come on, to my heart attack. Where you at? The beat is calling me back. Where you at? Come on, to my heart attack. You know now, a beat is calling back to life. To my heart attack. I feel it coming back to life. Dead on arrival from a comeback special. Go. Dead on arrival from a comeback special now.
What the hell do you want here? this, my just reward. The whole world knows that it is mine by right, but you deliberately withheld it from me. You deliberately humiliated me before the press, my public, and my peers. It was the culmination of your determined denial of my genius.
We've denied you nothing.
For 30 years, the public has acknowledged that I was the master, and that this year my season of Shakespeare was the shining jewel in the crown of the immortal bard. Quite insane.
You must be drunk.
But you, with your overweening malice, give the award to a twitching, mumbling boy who can barely grunt his way through an incomprehensible performance. No, it is mine.
This is Haas Worsland of deadbooks.com, and you're listening to Rue Morgue Radio. And keep listening, because if you don't have radio stations like this, you don't have horror like it should be.
Doing Hamlet?
What?
I mean, isn't that a bit pretentious? This is for a part in a horror movie, right?
My dear, Hamlet is the greatest work in the history of English literature. Murder, incest, fear, insanity, suicide. Murder after murder until the stage is littered with bodies. Do you know what the greatest work in the history of English literature is? It's a fucking horror film!
Alright, just stop the f***ing spitting.
Alright, so first of all, what is the state of the Church of Satan?
I was going to ask you about Wes Craven, and now I'm ashamed to.
Les Messman style.
Possibly the Antichrist?
Like a zombie character on Sesame Street. All of a sudden it seems so irrelevant. Continue.
I
I speak nothing but the fucking English language. And if that's infamous, then tough titters.
Alright, this is feedback with part 2 of my interview with filmmaker LEE DEMARBRE, the director of Smash Cut, a tribute to the old exploitation films of H.G. Lewis. The film is out now on DVD, courtesy of Shriek Show. Well, let's talk about the cast. This has quite the lineup, beginning with the lead actor, David Hess. How did you settle upon him?
Well, he's a bum. He works for bread.
Boom, roasted.
Pierre David was the executive producer of the film, who produced classic Canadian horror films like Scanners and Videodrome and Visiting Hours. And before Pierre came on board, my producers were telling me that it would be unlikely, since you already have Sasha Grey in the movie, since you already have Herschel Gordon-Lewis in the movie, and Ray Sager, to cast another American is going to kill our chances for a Canadian tax credit, especially if you have an American lead actor. So, there he is. See how ugly he is? Look how ugly he is. He's such an ugly bastard. How come?
Why did you come?
Why did I come?
Why the fuck did you come?
Who in their right mind would give this guy a close-up? He's so ugly. So but it was Pierre David who came along and said, "Look, Lee, you can get away with casting American lead." We had approached David Cronenberg actually at that point, and who was very interested in the movie, but it was off in London making the Fly stage play. But once Pierre said, "Look, Lee, what American would you want to?" And David Hess was the first name that came to mind, because I couldn't think of a more intense actor, and so they quickly contacted David J. Hess, the wrong David Hess. Somehow they got on the phone and offered the role to I guess there's another David Hess out there. God bless him.
Hallelujah.
Well, David J. Hess was he was excited about the whole idea because basically he did musical comedy. So this was like a big thing for him, right? Nobody followed it up, and he kept calling in and wondering about the role.
Answer your telephone.
So that was funny.
Answer your telephone.
But, everyone plays against type in the movie. Sasha Grey keeps her clothes on.
Well, Sasha Grey, how did you decide upon her for the film?
Well, I'm a fan. I really like Sasha Grey's work. I have a lot of...
You mean you're a pervert?
I am a pervert, but aside from being a pervert, I really admire her as a performer, as an artist. She's not like your typical porn star. And I saw her in one film, and that made me want to work with her. I saw Fetish Fanatics 4, directed by Belladonna, but it's Sasha Grey's first lesbian scene. And after watching that, I thought I needed to contact this girl. I would love to get her in this film.
Fucking fucking like that. You like it? Sit on my face. Fucking eat that pussy.
It was before Steven Soderbergh. I knew that she was going to get made.
Yeah, because she just did the Steven Soderbergh film recently.
Well, she did Smash Cut first, and then she went to New York.
There's a question, though. You know what? Is porn really a perversion?
Well, have you seen her movies?
I've seen some of them, yeah.
Right.
Do I jerk off? No.
She represents a sort of a new breed of extreme porn star.
Right.
They do things with tennis balls and ping pong balls that shouldn't be
done with. Dad loves pornography, and he can't watch a Sasha Grey movie. Yeah. She's been to his house, but he can't watch her movies.
But she is interesting, though. I mean, I read up on her.
Yeah, she loves movies. So after I saw her in this movie, and in Fetish Fanatics 4, her scene starts with this letter from Belladonna saying, "This is all real emotions. This is they don't even get to set in the scene. They just start kissing, and it's really intense. It's really intense, and I was really blown away by it. And then I found her on MySpace, and I noticed that she loved movies, and that she, it wasn't like
Gaspar Noé. She lists as one of her favorite.
Yeah,
directors.
She doesn't like Star Wars or Indiana Jones. She loves Jean-Luc Godard, and her favorite American filmmaker is John Cassavetes, and the list goes on. She was like when I met her, she was 19.
She's a real film geek.
When I was 19, I was picking my nose. I didn't know anything about the French New Wave.
Yeah, I was impressed the same way when I looked at her MySpace.
Again, and then I'm more intrigued now to meet her and give her the script. And so we met her at the Beverly Hilton in Los Angeles, and she was so charming. And when I met her,
she is charming, man.
When I met her, she had her script, and it was full of notes. It was full of notes. She didn't read her scene. She took this very seriously. And again, we were all very impressed.
Well, it's a weird thing to take a porn star and turn them into an actor, but you go one step further. You give her a Shakespearean soliloquy to recite.
Was that not? That is right. So super. That
we were filming at the same time Jenna Jameson was doing Zombie Strippers. Okay. And I kept saying to Sasha, like, there's no way Jenna Jameson's doing Shakespeare in Zombie Strippers. Let's prove something here.
Action!
Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest, most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times. Now how abhorred in my imagination it is, my gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips I kissed, I know not how oft.
Cut! Can I interrupt for a minute?
Well, you've been interrupting for about 20 minutes.
Well, I can leave the room too. That really is a metaphor for the movie, her Shakespearean soliloquy, because to hear her do it off screen, when she was rehearsing it, she really knows Shakespeare. She knew the beats in Shakespeare and everything. She intentionally read it the way she did on screen because she wanted to make the mistakes, and she wanted everybody to think that she was a lousy actress. And she's so good that people believe that that's really Sasha. I mean, that could be the kiss of death.
Is that her intent, is to leave porn? I don't get
No.
that
She just finished her own film. It was originally going to be a reworking of Videodrome. And she just finished it. It's not Videodrome, it's something different. And she's been directing. She's not been on the road much, doing press for this or the Girlfriend Experience, because she's finally directing something she wrote, and it's really exciting for her, and she's really jazzed about it. But to go back to the whole idea of me casting an adult film star in my horror movie, it's kind of a Canadian tradition. David Cronenberg did it with Marilyn Chambers and Rabbit. So
that was the impulse.
The real impulse was Fetish Fanatics 4. You want to work with people who inspire you. And Smash Cut was a dream come true, because I worked with David and Herschel Gordon Lewis and Sasha Grey. Herschel's in his 80s now, and Sasha's just turned 20 when we made the movie.
They have two in the same,
and they're in the
same film. She also did they did a porn version of Pirates of the Caribbean. And she, you know what that film cost?
I don't know what it costs, but
I can tell you what it costs. $2.5 million. Now, when you start investing $2.5 million in a porn film, you know that there's some kind of a move towards the center. People don't do that otherwise. So it's like, the most natural thing in the world is for her to do porn and then do something legitimate. The crossover is very fuzzy at this point, which I love, because it should be that way anyway. It's only a matter of
time before we see people popping tennis balls out of their arse on network television.
Yes. I can't wait.
For more information about Smash Cut, go to the website at www.smashcutmovie.com.
Bleeding! It's Bobo! He's going to kill everyone!
And cut! That's a print.
David Hess, Wait for the Rain.
Wheels turning, some of the leaves are turning brown, coming to gather you, gathering cherries off of the ground. And after the rainbow, after the day glows come over you, a bottle of wine and then a waterfall gonna lead you to the dream you knew you'd do.
be or not to be? That is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished.
Morgue Radio.
Hey ho, have you heard about a show called Morgue Radio? Weird wigs and spooky tone. Radio for ghouls, not radio for chones.
Radio for ghouls, not radio for chones.
Orally stunning.
Alright, we're back on Morgue Radio, and now it's time to see what's happening with Shannon. Hey Shannon, it's been a pretty good week for me. I just invested in a new baby sling operation.
The popularity of baby slings has been on the rise over the past 4 years. But according to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, 2 slings are considered so dangerous they are being pulled from the market and parents are being told to stop using them.
1 million baby slings are being recalled. They're being taken off store shelves and they will no longer even be made.
Alright, here she is, the bastard son of 1 million baby slings. Shannon, what's happening?
Just a word of warning, Tomb gave up showering for Lent. Just a word of warning. I'm Shannon Medallia, and I've got what's happening horror-wise from around the world. From March 25th to April 1st, the Boston Underground Film Festival will feature the Tapas of Terror Shorts program. The Grindhouse Splatter Classic Pieces, Mitch Davis, Subconscious Cruelty, and a hell of a lot more. There will also be parties and award ceremonies like the Lifetime Achievement Award given to Mink Stole, Harpoon IPA, and Marker's Mark. For the film schedule and more information, go to bostonunderground.org. They know how to party there. A Night of Horror is back again for another run in Sydney, Australia at the Dendy Newton Cinema from April 15th to the 23rd. They'll be screening 16 of the world's most terrifying new features and over 50 shorts. Premieres, Q&As, and other events are all a part of this festival. To volunteer or to find out ticket prices and more info, check out the official website, anightofhorror.com. The world premiere screening for Charles Beaumont, The Twilight Zone's Magic Man, is March 27th at 3 p.m. at the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood, California. There will be a signing opportunity and a Q&A with the filmmakers. Call 323-466-FILM for details. And the Vampire Film Festival is now taking video submissions for their 2010 festival. For submission forms and details, go to vampirefilmfestival.com. If you know of something happening in the horror world, send me an email, Shannon@RueMorgueRadio.com.
This is Peter Straub, and you're listening to Rue Morgue Radio.
Yes, I'm pretty damn sure the feds are listening to this program. Okay, our next caller is on. Hello, is this the FCC?
Hello, am I on the air? Have you got me?
Hey, slow it down, buddy. What are you on meth, or is this love at first sight?
From near your building. There's been some kind of attack during the game, I think. People are going crazy out here. I saw a guy get run over right in front of me.
Easy,
Everyone's trying
pal.
to get away. People are mobbing the street.
All right. Seems a little early to be celebrating a championship, don't you think?
It's like, I've never seen anything like it. It's crazy, man.
I don't think so.
I mean, cops, lights are flashing, but it's not doing anything.
Take it easy,
I'm not joking, man.
Take it.
Logan, this is right downtown. Can't you see it outside your window?
Okay, let's try to get back to the insanity here. Okay, caller number 4, you're on. Please save me here.
Dude, turn on your TV. It's real.
All right, let's roll the dice and take another call. Okay, you're on with...
It's time to face the truth. The Great Maker has put his wrath down upon us for not looking at his domain. The plague of the age is upon us. The end is near.
Let's take another call.
Something is wrong. There's been another attack.
Folks, it appears that there is a situation here. I'm going to go to a break just to get some more information. Please stay tuned.
In the barley fields late at night, something's moving and it ain't right. I got that feeling of do or die. Something's coming, and I don't know where or why. everybody's gonna die. Are they evil? Yeah, of course. I've watched them mutilate this dawn, a simple sign the day is born. 'Cause now I know that I am going to heaven. When the morning comes, we'll be together. When I love you, it will be forever.
You, sir, are a retard. If you're so paranoid about aliens, you shouldn't watch so much television.
Why does our show always devolve into alien porn?
You know, I wonder that often myself.
The night is my domain.
Hello, I'm Liisa Ladouceur. I am your Blood Spattered guide to music on Morgue Radio, and I am not a liar.
Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
A few weeks ago, I promised more conversation with Bill Moseley, and this week, I deliver. Bill is a friend to Morgue, of course famous as an actor in horror films such as Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, some Rob Zombie flicks, and a few dozen more credits, I think.
So what kook are we moving tonight?
Michael Myers.
Trick or treat, baby.
He is also a singer, and you may remember his art metal project Cornbugs with Buckethead, or that I called him recently to talk about his new band, the freaky rock and roll project Spider Mountain. While I had Bill on the phone, I wanted to ask him a bit more about his musical background. So this is part 2 of our conversation. I'll call it Me, You, and a Dog Named Duke. So I have to ask you, Bill, it sounds like twice now that you've had a musical project come out of an encounter with someone who loves what you do in film. But you also have been an actor/singer for a while. Is it true you were in the Glee Club when you were in school?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Not only was I in the Glee Club at the Hotchkiss School in Lakeville, Connecticut, a nice boys' preparatory school, but I was also in the Blue Notes, which was kind of like the elite singing group of seniors at my high school. And the reason being was it was an all-boys prep school, and so we never really got to see girls too much. And the Glee Club and also the Blue Notes, that singing group, got to go to all of the dances at the girls' schools. So we actually, it was a great way to meet girls. That was almost as important as actually hitting the right notes.
Like most guys who join bands, you just joined a Glee Club instead of a punk rock band. That's pretty funny.
Exactly.
So tell me about your singing influences, because on this record you are doing more singing than you did with Cornbugs. We know you can sing because we've watched Repo.
Shut the fuck up! I'm the smartest and the toughest. I will find a hole and fuck it. If there ain't one, I will make one. Luigi, don't take shit from no one. One brain, mark it up. Only I got brains enough. That's why Pop will leave gene code to me. Me.
Where did you get inspiration for being a vocalist instead of just like a ranter?
It started with my family band, the Moseley Brothers. My younger brother Dan plays the piano, and I would play the drums and harmonica and sing. Actually, I shared the vocal duties with our wire-haired terrier, Duke. And Duke actually put out his own cassette that was kind of pre-CD days called Duke the Singing Dog. And Duke would actually sing pretty well, actually, to my mother playing Boogie Woogie on the piano. It's just always something I've done. I've always sang songs, and actually made them up. Having a couple of children really helped because I would make up a bunch of songs. For instance, there was a song I used to sing to my older daughter, which was when she was in the bathtub, she would always drink the water in her bathtub. So I would sing, "Don't drink the water, spit it out." And, stuff like that. And I don't know, songs about vultures and songs about, highway bridges, pancaking in an earthquake and squashing the car. And just, happy songs like that.
Hippies in a truck won't let me pass. Hippies in a truck ain't got no class. Rust is on the bumper. Driver looks like Thumper. Hippies in a truck can kiss my ass.
That, I don't know, just kept bubbling out of that song place in me.
I want to go to there.
Wow. Now, another artist we know that you worked with was OhGr on his record and in Repo. What did working on a full-blown musical, getting to be really an actor/singer in the same role, how did this affect you? What did it teach you about your singing abilities, do you think?
It certainly gave me more confidence in them, and I think it was one of the scariest auditions I ever had was actually the singing audition for Repo, because I actually had to follow one of the Pussycat Dolls, who really just sang like a bird and owned the song, and it was all kind of Broadway and Vegas-y, and it was like I was thinking, holy shit. And I was just hoping to get through it, but fortunately they had a magic microphone that really made me sound great, almost like singing in the shower. So as soon as I heard a couple of notes out of that magic microphone, I was encouraged to give it my best, and got the job. So that helped a lot. Working with OhGr was really probably the most fun for me. He's a great guy. And then, of course, I ended up doing some spoken word on his Devils in My Details solo album. That also, all of that just, continues to encourage. Plus, there are a lot of Cornbugs fans out there. And, when I go to conventions and things, I always bring along a couple dozen CDs and pretty much always sell out of them because there are a lot of Cornbugs fans. So God bless them.
Hallelujah! If you would like to talk about music with Bill Moseley or get some CDs autographed, you can find him at several conventions this summer. He will be at Monster Mania in Cherry Hill, New Jersey this May, and Texas Frightmare Weekend in Dallas this June. If you're not traveling, you can find Bill 24/7 on the interweb. Chop Tops Barbecue is his website to buy merch, or find him at MySpace Moseley Fish, where he maintains a humorous blog. Right now, here is a track that Bill appeared on from the OhGr solo record, Devils in My Details. This is Bill Moseley lending his unique singing stylings to a track called Feeling Chicken.
Stars and stripes in my flag today. I want to
laughing as we come and saying something stupid like,
OhGr on Remorgue Radio. We're back with more with Caustic Critics. Yeah, Repo Men coming up right after these words from the Repo Man.
Join Remorgue's own Rodrigo Godinho at There Will Be Sangre, the business of horror, happening this Friday, April 4th at Lowe's Santa Monica Beach Hotel.
Do you really love me?
Godinho is joined by fellow panelists Edwin Pagan, Joe Senna of Fearworks, and others. The National Association of Latino Independent Producers 2010, navigating in a sea of change. There Will Be Sangre. For more information, go to www.latinhorror.com.
The future of horror is here. 8 films to die for. Horror Fest 4.
On DVD everywhere, March 23rd from Lionsgate.
Cancerslug.
Everything I've done is wrong. Waste the night and face the dawn. Everyone I've loved is gone. Everyone I've loved you. There is nothing left for me. Just a shit-filled agony. Everything is wasted. Everywhere I go, death comes calling to take me home. Death comes calling to take me home. Everything I've done wrong, waste the night and face the dawn. Everyone I've loved is gone. Everyone I love. There
is Eduardo Sanchez, one of the directors of the Blair Witch Project, and you're listening to Rue Morgue Radio.
In 1972, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire
the Caustic Critics.
Controversial, unrelenting, it's brutal, it's nasty,
sensational,
the worst of the worst. Offend everyone equally.
Bolding. They're real.
This stuff shit scrapes off the bottom of its shoes.
They're mean.
So what was the actor's name? Oh God, what a plank he is.
They're here.
Are you ready? It's time for the Caustic Critics. They're here.
All right, this is feedback.
And this is Last Chance Lance.
You're killing me coming in the front like that.
Before we get going, Lance, we need to tell people, if you haven't already, you need to go over to www.rondoaward.com and vote for Rue Morgue Radio.
Vote often for Rue Morgue Radio.
Vote often. Sign up your dead grandmother's name and on Hotmail and do whatever you have to do.
If you see anything that I am on there for, Last Chance Lance, then vote for me.
Exactly, anything. And make up stuff.
We won last year.
We won last year, so I was talking to Sir Tomb Dragomir about this. We're not going to threaten anybody with any punishment if they don't vote. No, because it's not right to do that.
I thought that's why we won last year.
It's exactly why we won last year.
Oh, I see your logic.
But we're winners now. We're defending the title. We've got to class it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. If we lose to Dead Pit, keep this in mind, everybody. We'll have to listen to those two hillbillies prattle on for the next 12 months about how they won the fucking Rondo.
Nobody
and
wants that.
And I will be seriously pissed.
Yeah, no one wants that, man. This fucking toothless wonders babbling about bullshit.
That's nasty.
Okay, today we're talking about the New Moon movie, Eclipse, which, what is it, Twilight Eclipse? What did we... No, Repo Men.
Repo Men.
Repo Men.
Repo Men.
Emilio Estevez. No, that's Repo Man. Sorry.
You eat a lot of acid, Miller, back in the hippie days?
It's a bit confusing. Repo Man, obviously, was the great Alex Cox movie from the 80s. This has no relationship to that. Technically, it has no relationship to Darren Lynn Bousman's Repo the Genetic Opera, although let's face it, it has completely ripped off the entire
fucking same movie without music.
It's very bizarre. Once I delved into it and I realized, obviously the Repo Genetic Opera people are pissed. Darren Lynn Bousman has been blogging about it. It's just an outright rip-off.
Yeah.
Apparently it was based on a novel that came out last year called The Repo Mamba? The Repossession Mamba.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a good 10 years after this stage play was already kicking around anyway. So the entire premise has been lifted from Repo the Genetic Opera.
The premise is this. It's a little bit in the future where if you need a liver or an esophagus or a kneecap or whatever, you can go to a place and get it done for a lot of money, but you get an artificial organ or an artificial joint or whatever. They'll put it in.
It's compact, it's safe, it's comfortable, everything you want in a new liver. The price, $756,000.
There's a caveat though, buyer beware, and that is that if you can't make your payments, they send someone to your house who cuts it out of you, and most of the time you don't walk away from that. So Jude Law is one of these guys. He's a Repo Man. And Forrest Whitaker, who's amazing in this movie, is
They're both amazing.
Oh yeah, they really are both amazing.
We got a time bomb.
My name's Remy. That's my best friend, Jake. We grew up together, and now we work together.
Yeah, job's a job.
They're both Repo Men for this company, and they just treat it like it's a job. They don't think about the people. They don't think about the families that get left behind. They just treat it as another job. And then Jude Law's character has an accident and has to have an artificial heart put in his body. And suddenly things change.
The shoe is now on the other foot.
That's right. The proverbial artificial shoe is on the other artificial foot. Whatever. So now he is one of those guys, and he can't do it anymore. He can't go and cut the heart out of someone, cut their liver or their kidney. He just can't do it anymore. And he starts missing payments.
He started out like an arsehole. Somewhere along the line, he develops a vague sense of humanity. Why it took him as long as it did to evolve, who knows, but he still gets our sympathies, presumably anyway.
Even though along the way he also kind of gives up on his wife and son and meets another chick, which is a little ambiguous, but whatever. So, but I will say this about it before you say anything, and that is, as you know, as contrived as that may sound, and maybe it is interesting to some people, I will give them this, that they have a twist ending on this that I'm not going to give away, which blew me away, and I didn't see it coming at all. And
it's a little vaguely familiar with another movie, but I don't even want to mention that film because that would still give it away. But whatever,
Recall?
it's no.
Get ready for a surprise!
I'll tell you this, my expectations going into this couldn't have been lower.
Lower than low.
Truthfully, I just didn't care about it. I just thought it would be interesting to talk about it in relationship to the genetic opera, and that's about it. And I was expecting something horrible like Surrogates or something. Did you see that piece of shit?
Yeah.
That was god-awful. It was really fun. Jude Law, Forrest Whitaker, excellent in it.
What are you doing? Thought you needed help. I had him. You see I had my knife in his side? I knocked him down. He goes on my count. You joking me, right, Jake? I've been working on this guy for 10 minutes. 10 minutes I've been working on this guy. You gonna come in here and just hit him upside the head with a pipe? Jake.
The thing was filled with all sorts of inventive twists.
Sure.
You mentioned the ending, but all the way along it's got all these clever little moments. Basically, areas that a film of this nature would fall into convention or the pitfalls of narrative convention, they come up with funny little inventive twists.
Yeah.
In these kind of action thrillers, there's always the ubiquitous love scene between the protagonists. Well, they play that out in this to this like absurd degree during the most inappropriate moment imaginable.
Definitely.
It almost becomes like a parody of those moments in films. And there's great moments like that.
There was all kinds of little asides to the audience, that where I thought were clever. There was some great tributes to movies like Blade Runner and even Old Boy. And there's a lot of gore in this movie.
You know what was interesting? Oh, yeah, it's terrific.
It's covered in spraying blood.
The whole opening sequence was just macabre. It was like what Dexter wishes it could be.
Today I'm just a sea monster.
And what's great about it also is this fucking film was filmed in Toronto, so you get to see so much of Toronto, the subway system, the trains,
and actually
everything.
Toronto comes off looking pretty slick and
It
futuristic
does,
in this movie.
Because Toronto's where it's happening, man. The music, the film industry, the arts.
The other great thing about it is it makes a really potent, powerful allegory to the current economic crisis that has practically just destroyed the US economy. The whole subprime lending scam where banks preyed upon disadvantaged people, gave them loans so they could buy homes at these crazy interest rates that would balloon out of proportion, and then of course the people couldn't pay back the loan, so the banks came in and took their homes away from them. That's basically the allegory for what's going on in this movie.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
So in conclusion, it's a wonderful little surprise of the film, and I think we both recommend it.
Highly recommended, yes.
Until next time, this is Feedback.
And this is Last Chance Lance.
Don't forget, you got to vote for us in the Rondo Awards, www.rondoaward.com.
Or we'll come to your house and cut out your fucking livers.
Steps a figure. No one really knows his name for sure. He stands at 6'6", head and shoulders. Pray he never comes knocking at your door. Say that you once bought a heart or new corneas, but somehow never managed to square away your debts. He won't bother to write or to phone you. He'll just rip the still beating heart from your chest. You could run, you could hide, you could try to, but he always has a way of finding you. He will come at your weakest hour, when no one is around who might rescue you. And none of us horror. For many years ago, we all fell in debt. New body parts were needed to perfect our image. And until our debts are clear, we will live in fear of the...
Music from Repo, the genetic opera. But we gotta go, fiends. We're out of time. Thanks for tuning in to Morgue Radio. Auf Wiedersehen. Good night. Until we meet again, you can stalk me on Twitter at Zoom, DRAGOMIR. Go to RemoReGradio.com for the full playlists and message boards for this crazy show. And vote for us, yeah, the Rondo Awards. 1 week left, fiends. I'm gonna vote tomorrow, I swear. RondoAward.com. Do we have time for one more tune? Why, yes, tune we do. Here's the Frogs, buried alive on Morgue Radio. Until next time, fiends. Adios. Adios.
It's very dark, darker than black. They never hear me bark. I feel like I ain't coming back. Because you, buried me alive. Oh my, 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 buried me alive. Oh my, 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 buried me alive. Oh my, 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 why? The last thing I saw was a breeze. And now I'm dead, but more than that, I'm diseased. Because you, buried me alive. Oh my, 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 buried me alive. Oh my, 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 buried me alive. Oh my, 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 why?
To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. The respect that makes calamity of so long life.
How come
Why
did you come?
Why did I come?
Why the fuck did you come?
Who in their right mind would give this guy a close-up? He's so ugly.
Damn right.